My name is Paula Todd. I work for the National Fire Department and also for Rutherford County Fire Department, paramedic there. I want to talk to you guys about something that's really important to me, and that's about drugs, and specifically children, teenagers on drugs. What would happen for those of you, I know most of you have kids, what would you do, what would happen if you went into your son or your daughter's room right now and said, are you doing drugs? You know what kind of reaction you might get? You know what their answer might be? Good chance, if they're even taking drugs, they're not going to tell you yes, are they? Because they know if they say yes, they're going to be in trouble. That's pretty much what drugs are, trouble. The most important thing that we need to try to get out of this, and I'm going to try to talk to you about, is communication. You need to start with your kids when they're little, start talking to them, opening up good communication, listen to them. Don't try to judge them and be preachy to them, because they're not going to be receptive and they're going to close up to you. I work, like I said, for National Fire Department. I see this stuff all the time. I've got 13, 14, 15-year-old kids on drugs, taking alcohol, and I want to try to pass along some of that experience to you guys to help keep some of these kids off drugs. If we start young and get to them now, then we can probably make a difference in them. I'm going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to talk to you about some of the different kind and most popular drugs that they're doing now. I'm going to talk to you about recognizing some signs and symptoms of kids that might be on drugs. I'm going to talk to you the difference about talking to young kids versus teenagers. And then we'll do a little touch on addiction if your kids become addicted, what you can do. Basically, there's the main drugs that are going on right now is the synthetic marijuana. It comes in a little packet. You can buy it at a gas station. It's labeled not for human consumption. That's how the manufacturers are getting away with not going through the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. They manufacture this stuff, they put all kinds of stuff in it, all kinds of chemicals. It hasn't been tested, they don't know what kind of effects it's going to have on the body. We need to try to get the message out to the kids and stuff, how dangerous this is and what kind of effects it can have on your body. Also a big one, bath salts. They're labeled bath salts, air freshener, plant food. And this is to mislead the buyer into thinking they're mild effects. Well, they're not. Same things with the synthetic marijuana. They're putting all kinds of chemicals in it. No one package is the same. They're just using all different kind of chemicals, and you don't know what you're getting. Also can cause harmful effects on the body. There's also the uppers they're taking: cocaine, ecstasy, LSD, the date rape drugs, downers, which is marijuana, lubes, barbiturates. And then, of course, the old standbys, the alcohol and tobacco, cigarettes, beer, whiskey, stuff like that. Now that I've kind of give you a touch on some of the most popular drugs, we'll talk about some of the signs and symptoms that somebody that is on drugs might exhibit. The main thing is in your child, if you notice a marked change in their behavior, they act one way, and then all of a sudden a 180 change, and you know something's going on. They have a lack of interest in activities. They say you're a big baseball player, and all of a sudden they don't want to play baseball. That's a warning sign. They're either sleeping a lot or not sleeping enough, changing their eating habits. They have emotionally distanced themselves from their friends and family, start having problems at school, and they may be stealing. You may notice stuff missing from your house. You may be selling stuff or pawning it to get money for drugs. A few things you can do for younger children as far as talking to them. Say your kid's in there brushing his teeth. You can say, hey, you know, there's lots of healthy things we can do for our body, like brushing your teeth. And that's kind of an open discussion to start talking about drugs and how bad it is for your body. Watching TV, you see somebody on TV doing drugs or drinking, that's a good opportunity to say, hey, you know, this is wrong and this is why, this is what it does to your body. That's a good opening to talk about it. Set a good example, you know, don't smoke, don't drink to excess, because they're going to copy and mimic you. Whatever you do, they're watching. According to the American College of Emergency Physicians, in 2010, There were about 300 calls to poison control centers related specifically to some of those drugs I talked about earlier. In the first 8 months of 2011, it has jumped up to 4,700. 300 in a whole year, 2011, in 8 months was 4,700. That shows you right there that how much these drugs are on the rise. It's scary. Drugfree.org states one of the main things you can do to keep your kids off drugs is have ongoing conversations with them. That's the main thing. The communication with your kids is crucial. Talking to your teens, a little bit different than talking to young kids. They rationalize things different. They're more independent. You can't be preachy to them because you can cut them off. Same thing as some of the stuff you can do with the little kids, watching TV or read a newspaper article, you see stuff about drugs and alcohol. Bring the subject up and see what they got to say about it. Ask their opinion. Listen to what they got to say. If they are advocating drugs, that may be a warning sign. Something may be going on. www.antidrug.org states, be absolutely clear to your kids you don't want them using drugs. Be a better listener, give honest answers, and don't react in a way that will cut off further discussions. Back to the preachy thing that I told you about. Sometimes all we do, it's not going to make a difference. Your kid's going to experiment, and they're going to become addicted to drugs, despite everything you've done to try to help them. Parents don't always see these signs because, it's your kids. You don't want to see it. You're going to ignore it. You're going to make excuses. So that's one of the hardest things is recognizing that there's an addiction there. The www.casapalmera.com states, experts recognize 4 stages of drug and alcohol addiction. Stage 1 and 2, the teen experiments and uses drugs in social settings, parties, stuff like that. Stage 3, the teen starts to center his life around drugs. And then stage 4, his entire focus is obtaining drugs and getting high. At this point in time, once you recognize it, you can stage an intervention, either with a professional interventionist or family and friends, and follow up with the intervention. And then after that, it's crucial that you get them in a rehab program and get them straightened out. Otherwise, it's all going to go downhill from there. So I've tried to give you some points about different kinds of drugs, how to recognize the signs and symptoms, a couple things you can say based on how old your kids are. And hopefully you can use that to turn people's life around. I mean, sometimes you can't save somebody unless they're going to let you save them. No matter what you say or do, they're not going to cooperate. So all you can do is try. A lot of times, these kids are reaching out for attention. And sometimes that's all they need is somebody to step up and say, yeah, I'm here to help, I'm here to listen. So sometimes that might help. So I hope you can take this information today and maybe use it somewhere down the line and change somebody's life around.